What is up? Welcome to the Not a podcast with Jack Man, producer extraordinaire, preppy boy, possibly autistic. That's what he just told me. It's not me. I'm not judging. I am Bart Pietrzak, owner of Project Power Gym, which you see behind me. This is the Not a podcast where we divulge badass information about life, philosophy, business, workouts, gym, basically anything that really propels your life forward, because your life isn't a single category.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is pretty much every single thing that you do in any category of life translates to another category of life.
Right.
So you will find lessons on lessons on lessons, but I'm not structuring it because then it's not going to be natural. And I'm organic as fuck, son.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's going on, bro?
What's up? Things are good. Life is good.
This usually begins by me asking you what's going on in your life, and then me asking you about your business, and then you telling me something that's going on in your business, and then I give you some of my advice on what it was like when I was going through that same thing in business.
Yeah, people can learn along with us.
Well, you know, people are in one of two boats. They're trying to do something, which is what we're both trying to do, and they've done something and now are reflecting on, you know, what they did and why it worked or why it didn't work, so that the next time they try something, it can work better.
Right.
And that's essentially what we're doing here. We're both trying to get stuff done. I'm a little later or a little further down the road than you, but we're both nowhere near where we're trying to go, and we both can learn. So,
we're talking about business or puberty? Zinger.
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
Yeah, if we talking a little business, I'm kind of at a point right now where I think I need to start prospecting a little bit more and start getting new business coming in and focusing on that a little bit more, because in order for me to make the best possible product, I need to have more money coming in, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my question of like potentially getting a loan, like that's where that came from last week. It's like now I'm at the point, okay, if I want to.
Well, I asked you, right? Because you said, should I get a loan? And I asked you, are you able to pay your bills? And are you able to, you know, with the business you have now, are you still acquiring new business?
I'm starting to. I mean, the most recent business I've acquired was a month ago, I would say.
Okay. And how are you acquiring it?
That's personal connections, referrals.
So people you are currently working with or have helped are telling other people who are then contacting you?
Yeah, people within my network in general, yeah.
Okay. And that has slowed down?
Yeah, it has slowed down.
Okay. For how long of a period has it slowed down?
Came out on fire in like the first 2 months probably, of like getting people on. So it's slowed down over the past like 2 months. 2 months, I'd say.
So again, dude, like all your decision making pieces shouldn't have impatience involved in them. So if, again, like you're saying, I want to make more money, I want this to grow. That's what everybody wants in business. Everybody wants it to be where they want to end up fucking immediately. And because of that reason, that's why there's so many, just like as there's so many things to sell regular consumers, like, hey, here's the new car, here's the new phone, here's the new computer. Business owners are no different. I too want my business to be the biggest, flashiest, best fucking thing. So there's a shit ton of companies out there, from advertising companies to blah, 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 also selling you the dream that if you just participate in our company and pay us money, we can blow your shit up. Now, whether you actually purchase help and blow your company up or try to do it yourself, I strongly urge, don't do it, quote unquote, artificially. Don't try to generate something if it's not organically generating on its own. Take what is working and then just put fire on that. So if you have people referring you business, that's the route you should always go to help you grow organically as you already are growing. But if you take your organic growth that you have and your word of mouth business, and then now you try to start like a marketing campaign where you're trying to convince people to buy your expertise, you're running a very high likelihood that the ones you are targeting aren't going to be the people who would be referring you anyway, because you're trying to convince people. The people who want you are the people who don't necessarily need to be convinced. They just need to find you. So I'm not against, obviously, marketing and getting your name out to the community so that people know that you exist. But you have to make sure that you're utilizing what it is that's making you profitable now, and then just exacerbating that process or that potential. Make it easier for your people that are already working with you, for them to refer more people to you. And it's not like, hey, would you mind referring me to other people? It's, again, like figuring out exactly with who you're working with, why they're working with you, and then make a marketing campaign speaking to exactly those values. Because then everyone that you generate and everyone that comes to you sits in the same organic line of success that you currently have. Does that make sense?
So how do we put like if we just were to like paint a picture of that for me personally right now? I go to a client and I say what? Or I say nothing.
You go to you mean like a current
client?
Yeah.
I say nothing to the client.
Let me ask you this. Do you know who has referred you?
Yeah.
Okay. I would go to them and ask them why they referred you.
Okay.
And then really get an honest answer as to why they referred you. They have one of two answers. They have maybe a two-part answer. And part number one, I referred you because of what I like that you do, which is this, this, and this, and this. Part two of that answer is, when my buddy asked me for this, this, and this, you came to mind right away. So that second part, when Buddy says, hey, do you know anybody that does Yeah, I do. Jackman. Jackman's the shit, right? So if you get honed in on what those qualities are, now you have a very confident way of marketing yourself that you know you're not artificially convincing people to take you on, right? Because getting the wrong clients, getting the wrong customer base can fuck your business up just as much as not having any at all. Because again, then you get desperate to want to pay the bills. You start bending your own morals and principles and standards to appease these people who you've convinced to take you on. Mm-hmm. Now you're like bastardizing your process a little bit just to keep these people happy. And now the people who you actually want to work with, or who are actually appreciative of what you work, don't see your work because it's been bastardized by the people who you've convinced to come into your market. So, for example, there's this gym that utilized a marketing campaign that used a lot of AI, and they used a lot of like bots and automated messages, and a really good offer of you can get this many weeks free, and there's like a boutique personal training situation where it wasn't a come to the gym 24 hours a day. It was you get a class, right? You get a 4 or 5 person personal training class. Mm-hmm. And the marketing was so that it cost people nothing to join, right? So you don't have to pay to start, just start. And then once you have this many free sessions, then we can. It's very clever. But what ended up happening was the owner of the gym and stuff got really frustrated because the people he was working with, in his words, he was like really dumb fucking people. He worked with people who he just couldn't really connect with because they fell for this marketing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he got people through the door, but he didn't relate to any of them. And he had a really hard time not only keeping them, but even getting them to sign on in the first place. So now he's doing all this fucking work for people he doesn't connect with. And it's because of the fucking lure that he was using, was catching fish he didn't want to eat. So find the fish that you've caught, figure out their diet, and make your lure exactly that. And then everything you catch will be exactly what you're looking for. But don't get so antsy about the newest, greatest lure or the most, this lure catches the most fish. I'm not trying to catch all the fish. I'm trying to catch the right fish because the right fish will keep me fed, and I won't fuck up my diet.
Yeah, okay. Like, because I think right now my email, like when I email someone, if I'm like, hey.
So are you cold emailing people?
Yes, and I have gotten maybe 20% of my business from cold emails.
And is that business you want?
Yes.
And so what did the email say?
The email is something to the tune of, I've listened to your podcast. I enjoy it. Big bottleneck right now for podcasts is not including video. Where I work with St. Louis Podcasts, and something to the tune of, would love to.
So you assess that there's a typical issue in podcasting,
right?
And then you say, I'm going to solve this issue.
Right. The issue is it's people are doing audio only podcasts and they're like holding out on 100x of their potential, essentially.
Okay. Are you researching the people first before you email them?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay.
If you're researching, first of all, you have to know, like, if you're going to do it this way, you have to actually connect to whoever it is that you're reaching out to. And if you actually connect with them, you have to let them know why you're actually connecting with them. You have to let them know that you, by observation, have observed X, Y, and Z qualities that you admire about them and what they're doing. And thus, because of that admiration, you want to help propel that more. All right? This is what I've seen. This is why I think you guys are awesome. This is how big I think you guys can be. Here's a reason why potentially it's not as good as it can be right now. Here's what I can do to help that. Right? And if you outline it that way and you're very, accurate with your assessment with who they are and what they stand for and what they're trying to do, well, then that should be a no-brainer if they can afford it. Right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What I don't think that needs to be done is when people hop on trends or when they see what's creating, quote unquote, the most return on an investment in general, whether it contributes to who they are or not. Most don't fucking know their own definition. They have no idea how to identify themselves. Let's say you make podcasts that have video, right? But what's your definition? Because that's just what you do. What's the soul of your company? What's the soul of what you're doing and why you're doing it, right? That answer will then really easily tell you what you should and shouldn't do and who you shouldn't do it with. Again, just like life. But if you don't know what that is, and then you're just going, well, that's popular, or that seems to be returning a lot. For example, our TikTok videos, or our YouTube channel that we have with all these clips on it and stuff. I know there are tactics that you can use to make our shit more clickbaity. And I fucking can't stand it. I don't like the clickbaity thing. Because if what you click has a certain emotion on the thumbnail, and whatever it is that you click on doesn't have that same emotion, or it doesn't really go into what it is that the title says, I get fucking pissed at that because I just feel like you got over on me. You just used me. I feel used as a consumer.
Right.
I just got. And I fucking hate you for getting me. You see what I'm saying? I would rather that person not view my shit. I'd rather me have 20% less views and all of the views be of connected nature. And this take an extra 3 months. Versus clickbaiting shit and then getting people who aren't really on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And that's maybe my old schoolness, and that's maybe my pure nature that I like to have. But it's not worth it for me to dupe people or to like play games or tactics. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty of people who've made a lot of fucking money doing it that way. But at the end of the night, I always want to lay my head down at night and know that whoever benefited or whoever interacted with something that I have or created or am, I want that to be a face-to-face interaction that would always go well. I don't ever want to meet someone in public and be like, oh, you got me, man. Yeah. For example, when I was at Supplement Superstores working as a supplement salesman clerk guy, my biggest pet peeve ever was when I just spent an hour and a half with someone and I educated and I asked questions. It was a very genuine back and forth, and it was great. And at the end, they're like, all right, man, you sold me. Bro, like nails on that chalkboard. I would every single time, you can look on the fucking cameras for 10 years, every single time, go, no, man, it was an education. I'm not here to sell you anything. And I truly, wholeheartedly, in the deepness of my soul, that's really how I feel. If you ever feel like I fucking sold you because I was quick-witted or charming or whatever, like the whole thing is fucking a waste for me. I hate it. I can't stand it.
What do you think about the philosophy around like sales and like you have to believe in your soul that they came to buy and that they want to buy? Is that
For me, it's not buying.
okay?
Like, money means a lot to me. Money means a lot because I equate money with freedom and the ability to express myself freely in this world, because this world requires money for you to be able to express yourself properly. Okay, there's a lot of experiences that you don't get to experience if you don't have money.
100%.
Okay. I understand that the money itself, if acquired to then do X, Y, and Z experiences, the experience is an extension of how you got that money. So whenever I'm helping someone or whenever someone's in need of something, they're not in need of giving you their money. And so I don't look at it as I have to believe that they want to give me their money. For me, the money is irrelevant. For me, there's a problem that you have, and I am the solution to it. Whatever that problem may be. If my business revolves around the problem, then I can exchange some monetary value for the solution to your problem. And I can then exasperate that solution to a much higher degree. If you come into my gym and you tell me you have a flat tire, I am walking outside and I'm helping you learn how to change your tire. Right? I'm not making you pay me for it. But if you're coming into my gym and you're in desperate need of help with training and learning how to work out and all that stuff, I will help you to get started. But then I will let you know that there is a huge world of potential that I have that I can help you with for an exchange of money. Because that is my profession. Like, that is my thing that I have to offer. And that value exchange makes a lot of sense. Not to mention, if you're really wanting to be committed to something, you can help people by making them give you money to stay committed to it. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm speaking from a service standpoint, obviously, right? I'm teaching people how to change their lifestyles and that type of stuff. If your job is to sell a widget one fucking time, you can care less if that person uses the widget or not. You're just trying to get their credit card. And I understand that that's a huge plot of people out there. But I will argue that the best people that sell that widget are the ones that truly believe that that widget solves someone's problem. Bullshit is smelled a mile away. So if I really need a widget to solve my problem, and I go to a widget salesman, and all I fucking smell from this salesman is, buy this widget, I go, fuck this guy. I'm not listening to anything you say, because even if it sounds good, it's probably a ploy to get me to buy this widget.
Right.
Just like I used the example a couple non-episodes ago about the car salesman who could give two shits that you're on his car lot because he's so mesmerized by the cars and he loves the fucking cars and he's infatuated with how cool the cars are. All you need him to do is point to the fucking coolest one and you're like, I want that one. Because that dude loves fucking cars. Not having sex with cars. He fucking loves cars. Sometimes Polish doesn't translate very good to English. So the widget salesman needs my problem to be priority number one. And then he acknowledges that my problem can be solved with his widget. And in order for me to acquire that widget, he needs this much money. And then he can give me the widget. Dope. Awesome. You're there to solve problems. Us as humans are here to just solve problems. That is literally what we're designed to do. Happiness is a solution to a problem. Growth is a solution to a problem. Love is a solution to a problem. Everything is a solution to the problem. So if you can make yourself a solution-oriented human, you will always have enough value to exchange.
How do you make yourself a solution-oriented human?
You get resourceful. You start actually giving a shit about people. You actually care about solutions versus avoiding solutions. There are people who are really good at acknowledging solutions and learning how to avoid them. That's not a solution. That's a bypass. And a bypass type of life, you can tell a bypass type of person. And the way you can tell that is nothing's ever really concrete with these people. There's very difficult commitment. There's very difficult definitions. There's very difficult ways to get them to stand their ground on a certain subject. Everything is wishy-washy. Everything is hearsay. Everything is maybe someday, that type of stuff. You can't be that, especially if you're going to be a business owner or a parent or a brother or a fucking son, daughter. You can't. Excuse me. We're both sick as shit. You have to be able to stand your ground, and you can stand your ground once you've created some confidence in that, you're a solution-based person. And if I don't have the solution, I'm gonna work my ass off to find it. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And that process of finding the solution is life. It's experience. That's the purpose. That's the point. When I said a couple episodes ago, again, the point of life is to live, is to experience. It's experience the good, the bad, the ugly, the fucking fun, the not so fun. Like, we're not here to just segment life to just the solutions. Solutions feel awesome. How do you get solutions?
You get problems.
You fucking need problems.
Yeah.
So again, I've said this again before. When you wish for shit, and you ask the universe, and you ask God, and you ask Jesus, and you ask whoever it is that you ask, and you go, I really, really want a girlfriend.
Oh, okay. I'm not okay. All right.
I mean, you said it on our last 2 episodes, bro. So
I'm open to it.
okay,
But yeah, go on.
All right. Well, what do you think that the universe or God or Jesus is going to put in your way in order to achieve that?
It's gonna put challenges that make me a capable boyfriend. Let's say.
That's right. It's going to put challenges in your way to make you someone worthy of what it is that you're chasing.
Right.
So what it is that you're chasing never looks like what it is that you get.
Yeah.
Ever. And then what it is that you're chasing just fucking chases you once you earned whatever it is that you're chasing.
I've had 2 girls ask me on a date this week.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not playing with you.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty.
They listen to the show?
No, no.
Tell them to fucking listen to the show. God damn it.
Yeah, I'll take a couple Project Power gals out. Okay, so a little bit ago, I'd like to play this out with you because I think it would be helpful to me. A little bit ago, you said, like, what's the soul of your business?
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you the soul of my business, and you see if you can pick it apart. Maybe not, maybe yeah. But, like, the soul of my business is I find people that I see, I talk with, and whatever message that they're trying to bring to the world, I go, yeah, that, whatever they have, that could freaking help people. Like, that could be important to this world. And so my soul, my mission is to make sure that that is broadcasted to more and more people, because the more people that hear it, the more people it can help.
How do you filter what's helpful or not?
I guess that's just personal thing. I mean, what we're talking about is helping me, and so it probably helps other people, but I'm not always talking to my clients. So I don't know, there's just like an emotion that you can tell, or for instance, like the woman that's connecting veterans to the power line industry, and that's a very important industry because it's important to the national security, it's important to veterans. I don't know, like that's just it just kind of is good.
Who made your business?
Myself.
Okay. So where does the soul for the business come from?
Where does the soul for the business come from?
Who made the business?
I made the business.
Where does the soul for the business come from?
Okay, soul comes from me.
Okay. So what does your soul tell you?
I want to be free. I want to be independent. I want to determine my own destiny and my own fate and my own future.
Okay. So to be able to then translate how you can translate to clients needs to be so clearly defined as to what your personal beliefs are on X, Y, and Z, helping the world and all that stuff. When you clearly identify in your own life and soul what you believe the point of all of this is, and be able to personify that, your business will translate that. If you're the hands-on type of entrepreneur that you are, if you're within your business and you're creating your business and you're making decisions on personnel and edits and salesmanship and marketing and all this stuff, you're doing all those things right now. So your own personal beliefs are going to be the thing that all of those exude. If you're not clear on all of those things, then you don't really know where to put yourself into. You don't know which pockets to go into. You don't know which conversations to go into. Does that make sense?
Pockets and conversations is in even the types of podcasts I want to be working with. Is that what?
Yeah, man, because what do I need from you? Like, do I just need microphones and a camera?
No, you want your message to be heard, and you want your
what is my message?
The values that you hold for Project Power, and anyone that might be watching this, either that's a part of the community already or not a part of the community, you want that to be known so that everyone is on the same page, essentially.
Yeah, I have value that I would love to share with other people, right? And the exchange I'm looking for is attention, so that people then can tell other people about what has been created, and we can involve more people to participate. Okay? But what do I need you for?
To make all that happen.
How? What can't I do that you do?
You can't set the cameras up and put the right settings on them. You can't currently edit the podcast properly and actually make it all cohesive, and then distributing it and growing it and putting this out there and scheduling the content and stuff. Like, you don't have the time or you don't know how to, and maybe a little mix of both between all three of those things.
And then ultimately, because task type procedures are the easiest to learn, right? How to set a camera up, which things to press, all that. What don't I know is I don't know social media enough, or how to convey these messages as productively as I possibly can in order to achieve that attention that I'm looking for. That's what I most need you for. Right? Because again, I'm a solution-based person. So if it requires me to go on YouTube and learn how to set these cameras up and set these microphones up and which, digital things to do, that isn't a huge hill for me to climb. But then to have that content and then utilize that content and create a response from community and society and all that that's conducive with how much value I'm giving, that's what I need you for. Because I don't know. The problem that I think we face as people, and that's actually something I wanted to talk to you about just in general. You told me that you have gone out of your way to find a group of people that are like-minded, that are supportive, and I was thinking about like some of my cynicism that I have of society and how I feel like so many like negative things are happening out there in society. And I really took a really long, deep look as to where that was coming from for me. Why did I have such a cynicism for so many people that I didn't know? Because of social media. Because I don't get that here or in my circle or at home. So truly, the woke and all this type of shit that I think is wrong with our society is literally just hearsay from social media. Because I don't see it. None of my members are like it. I don't really have these type of conversations that go poorly at the supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have them at the gas station. I don't have anyone making me call them a they. You know, like I really truly don't experience a lot of this shit. So just as like during COVID, when I said like I stopped watching the news and therefore COVID just basically magically went away, a lot of these issues that I'm hearing about, technically I wouldn't know about if I had just put my phone down all day long.
100%.
Right? But everyone lives in that world. The amount of people I come into physical contact with is extremely limited versus how many people I can come in contact with on social media, which is why this thing just won't die. Social media just won't die. Even though if you were to go around and take a fucking poll of how many people don't like social media or wish they would spend less time on it, it's a mass majority of human beings. Almost everyone I know has either taken a break from social media or wished that they didn't have to be on it, but, you know, for work or for blah, blah, blah. So everyone's on there, and they're all just fucking drowning in this pool of fucking acid. So in order for me to be able to pull people out of the acid, I have to be in the acid with them, which is what I need you for.
That's interesting.
I hate the acid. I can't stand it. I will, you know, I'll hit the search button on Instagram and it'll like show you all your little tiles of like recommended shit. And it's just so gross, bro. It's so gross. And it's endless. There's so many. It just goes, but see, like even this, I'm putting into the acid.
Yep.
So now I'm part of the acid.
Yeah. How do you justify that?
Intent and my soul. That's I can't ever convince someone I'm not the same as everybody else. They have to convince themselves of it once they meet me. Because to go around and make videos of how you're different than everybody else that makes videos is like sitting in traffic and yelling at everybody that there's traffic. Right?
Right.
Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. Like, you're part of it. Right? So I have to acknowledge that I have to go into the acid. But I'm not going to swim around that fucker longer than I have to, which is what I need you for. I need you to get me the most return on me sitting in that fucking acid.
I like that a lot.
That's the soul.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then based off of that information, that's what I meant on like the human experience. Like there's a human element into what we just talked about. It wasn't an ROI marketing fucking, you know, business terms and all that shit, right? Those come with it. Those are a way to analyze and explain what's happening naturally. When I very first started at Supplement Superstores, I had one of my best friends from Chicago come up, and he was the most genius business. He owns this huge logistics company now. But he was sitting in the back of the store just listening to me talk to customers. And I've been on the job for maybe like 2 weeks. And I distinctly remember one time we had these packs where you would sell a couple supplements together, right? And there was like a base pack, a middle pack, and then like a really expensive big pack. And like this was like 4 supplements, this was 6, this was like 12. And he was in the back for like, you know, my whole 6-hour shift or whatever. And in between customers, I would walk back there and he'd be like, damn, dude, that was, you know, you. And then he would like name what I did. Oh, you did that Jefferson transaction perfectly. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What Jefferson? He goes, you don't know what the Jefferson. He goes, you did it exactly by the book. And I go, explain. He goes, oh yeah, dude, you give people 3 options and 75% of the time they choose the middle option because no one wants to be the cheapest. No one thinks they're that serious that they need the best. So they pick the middle of the road. And he goes, you did it perfectly. You explained it exactly just like that. And I'm like, I was just helping the fucking guy. Based off of what he told me, that's what I thought was the best thing. So one thing looked at 2 different ways. I was organically just listening to a human being, took his problem, found a solution, presented the solution. My very analytical, business-minded buddy goes, oh yeah, that's a theory. That's a thing that someone has observed so many times that has now created a play-by-play playbook how to execute that organic thing. And I think the reason why that exists is because some people are very naturally empathetic, very naturally communicative, very naturally caring about other people. And thus I can internalize what it is that you must be feeling or what you must be thinking or what it must be like to be you. And I can play that out and I can feel that out. And then I can communicate to you as if I am you talking to yourself. And you go, this guy fucking gets it. Now, the people who aren't like that naturally, they go, how did you know that? How did you know that he was sad? He was smiling and laughing the whole time. I felt it. Okay, well, if you can't feel it, you need some other tactic strategy to get to that same point, which is where all these strategies and business things, I think, come from.
Do those do that? Do those do it as efficiently as like the feeling?
Listen, I'm a feeler, so I'm always going to say no.
Yeah.
But yes, there's billion, trillion dollar businesses built off of guys that do it that other way.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it's not effective. Have we demonized it more as a society? Of course. That's just because without feeling, sometimes you can push people into positions that they don't want to be in because you don't feel what they're feeling. Therefore, like, you're just using the tactics. And if you're not very efficient with the tactics or you're not very good or skilled, you're obviously going to rub people the wrong fucking way because you're talking at them, not with them. And they feel that. That's what the bullshit meter is, like I was saying before. If you don't really know what I'm trying to do with this podcast or what I'm trying to convey or what values I have, all you're going to be left with is your strategies. And as you talk, I'd be like, you're not talking to me, bro. Like, none of the things that you're saying, I care anything about whatsoever. Again, you're a 400-pound person walking up to a gym and, you know, you're extremely self-conscious. You're not proud of yourself. You're ashamed. You're embarrassed. But you finally made it enough courage to walk in and say, I'm going to change this. Mm-hmm. You know, and the guy behind the counter, salesman Joe, understands that, like, you know, making people feel bad about themselves or making them question themselves makes them authoritative. Well, this guy doesn't need to make himself feel any worse about himself. He already feels really fucking bad about it. So if Joe comes over and starts saying, oh my goodness, you really need our help. You've really let yourself go and it's unhealthy and you're probably pretty close to, you know, some real serious health issues. You know, you're lucky you came in here today. Yeah, you really need to sign up for some of these packages, man. You know, we'll help you. But dude, you got to do it today because you don't have any, you know, much time left. That's not going to get that fucking guy to commit to anything. But if he walks in the door, I've never been 400 pounds, but I've been ashamed of myself and I've been embarrassed and I've been scared and I've been all those things. So how would I want to be spoken to when I'm embarrassed? Financially, you know, growing up, like my idea of finances are spend so much money that it forces you to work really hard to make more money. Put yourself in really bad financial positions because then you'll work harder to get yourself out of bad financial positions. That was my stance for a really long fucking time. And at one point, it got really fucking bad. I was embarrassed. I have my whole life together. Everything's fucking spick and span. I'm disciplined. I'm this and that. But I have these horrible, horrible habits financially. All I wished was some really knowledgeable professional goes, hey, dude, listen. You're not in a good spot right now, but I know why you got there. Like, people do what you've done. It is not uncommon. Don't feel bad. The best thing about it is you're doing something about it now. And you'll get out of this. We can get out of this, no problem. We just need to switch a couple habits around, and you are so much closer to the top of this mountain than you think. It's okay, bro. Like, don't feel bad about what you did. Everybody does a portion of what you just did. Okay. I can deal with that. You know what I mean? Like that. Thank you. Because I already had so much pressure on myself. Like, I didn't need any fucking more. I couldn't handle anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm not going to use tactics, bro. I'm not going to use salesmanship tactics. you know, everything has its place, dude. But the bottom of the bottom line is when you're dealing with people, you got to treat them like people. And you're a person, so that should be pretty fucking easy. But we make it way more complicated than it has to be. We care about sounding professional. We care about this. We care about that. And that's when it becomes inauthentic. Even if you are truly trying to help somebody, but you're trying to use business terms and try to be more professional than you really are, like that's going to come across as like I'm not being authentic. I wear a backwards hat. I'm 36 years old. I own a business and I wear a fucking t-shirt and gym shorts every fucking day. I went to a seminar. I was asked to speak at a dads and business seminar. This is how I showed up. Every single other person was in a suit, tie, Rolex. And I didn't feel out of place at all. Because this is authentically me.
What happened to what about a couple weeks ago?
That's right.
So how do you manage that?
Well, this is really how I am. I'm not dressed down. I color coded. You see what I'm saying? I showered. Everything is, black, white, or green, right? Everything is color coded. Like there's some thought in it. I didn't just roll out of bed and just throw on whatever. I'm not saying you have to wear a suit. I'm saying you got to put yourself together. You got to present yourself authentically.
Okay. Present yourself. Okay. I'll bring that up another time.
Go for it right now.
Presenting your the argument and I just argue. Well, I'm presenting myself authentically by just rolling out of bed. That's
if that's what you want to present to the world, go for it. That's why I wasn't judging you when you came up in flip-flop socks and a fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But don't be flabbergasted
right.
when you have a little bit more opposition when the guy in the suit wants something, right? And let's say like that's your target demographic of like, business owners or whatever. There is some acting involved in order to get into the fucking door. There is. If you don't want to participate in that, that's fine. Like you don't have okay, I'm trying to explain this. Always show up authentically. But just remember how I said I thrived under pressure. Mm-hmm. Okay, the authentic me, the actual answer is I was lazy and I procrastinated. But the way I dressed that up was...
Right.
Okay. So if you are actually a really well put together person, put yourself together however you feel fit. If you really feel good in suits and like that's really how you like that's really who you are, but you're dressing down because you're not trying to, because people in suits have a certain persona or whatever. Like that's being inauthentic. If you're dressing down because you're trying to portray that you're a laid back, easygoing person, and that's the only reason why you're dressed down, then you're dressing down for the wrong fucking reason. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does that make it more clear?
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you have to dress for the job you want or you have to, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stop lying to yourself and be very authentic with what it is that's going on. If you dress in a suit and the guys in suits don't give you the time of day ever, it's not because you're wearing a suit. Does that make sense? Those are still probably your people. You just haven't been able to communicate properly. You haven't been able to be as authentic as you probably should. So don't completely shift gears, start dressing down and start going after losers because you think, oh, well, I tried these people and they didn't like me. So now I'm going to go try these people. That happens a lot. A lot. I know plenty of people who have been unsuccessful in certain things and then start convincing themselves that they don't want what it is that they've been unsuccessful in.
Yep. Survivor bias.
Bro, you go 3 years without a date, and all of a sudden you say, I don't really like girls.
Yeah, right.
No, bro. You're just not doing what you need to be doing, bro.
I see that everywhere.
Everywhere. Do you? Because
I genuinely see
Yeah.
it everywhere. Yeah.
I hear about it a lot. I hear about people coming to me telling me how excited they are about something. They're going to try something.
Yep.
They're going to get something. They're going to be something. I see them 3 months down the road. They're like, I didn't really want it that bad.
Yep.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I couldn't get you to shut up when you started
Yep.
telling me about it. Well, I started and the guy was kind of mean. And,
Yep.
the hours were kind of long. And you're a pussy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop. Don't pretend you don't want something just because of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
That's people go in with optimistic ignorance, and then they figure out, because like what I see so often, especially people around my age, it's like, this job's gonna be easy and it's gonna make me a lot of money really fast.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you figured out that
Nothing's like that.
nothing's like that.
Nothing. There's this show that my daughter watches. It's this Ukrainian family. I think we talked about it once on the show.
Yeah.
The Diana and Roma show. And at first, you can tell like the guy used minimal money.
Yeah.
Right. And videotaped the living room and whatever. Now it's like a full blown fucking production. So when you first started videotaping, you're like, dude, that guy spent maybe $200, and he must have made 10, 20 grand off of that video. So then he's like, well, if I make a $10,000 video, I'll make $100,000. Well, all he's done is just created himself a production company, and now probably has the exact same problems a production company has. It's never as easy as what you think. You watch these OnlyFans, you say, oh, dude, I'll just do an OnlyFans. Really think about what it's like to have an OnlyFans. I mean, for real, really think about it.
Not good in my
No,
not
dude.
good if I had to say.
Well, yeah, I could just show my feet and make, 10 grand a month. First of all, you probably couldn't, because at this point now there's so many fucking feet on there that what makes your feet so special.
Right.
But number two, that thing I said way in the early part of today, like, you're going to go buy things with foot money and feel good about it? Dude.
Yeah.
Come on. So the integrity, the pride in what you do, keep it. Even if you're not doing it well, even if it's not giving you the results you're looking for. If you can look in yourself in the mirror and say, I still really fucking want that, then don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop stopping. Stop quitting. Imagine if you just wouldn't quit. Imagine if you took the 17 things you tried and were still trying that first thing. By now, probably would have gotten it.
Yep.
But we don't. There's too many options. If this is too hard, we'll try this. But people don't, like, when I say that, I don't think people really think that when they quit. Because like we said, your buddy will say how much they wanted something, and then 3 months later, they throw some other reason other than it was too hard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They don't admit that it was too hard. They say, oh, well, again, I couldn't sleep 9 hours a night like I wanted to, so it probably wasn't healthy for me to do that. Dude, like, how long? How long till you decide something does or doesn't work? How long do you decide, before you do or you don't want something? Like, how long? How much pain do you have to go through to realize that whatever it is that you want isn't worth the pain?
That's a hard question.
It is a hard question, but it's one that experience will answer. There's also another piece of this was just basic belief. If you go into something really not believing that you're going to have it or that you're going to be able to do it, then there's a subconscious of you just waiting for to find out the part that proves that you can't. You might overcome the first obstacle. You might overcome the second obstacle. But if your underlying thought is, I cannot sustain something of this nature, eventually you're going to be like, well, I've had 5 obstacles in 4 years. Like, that must mean that this isn't for me. Like, do you think that Do you think that people have this notion? Come on, mother trucker. All right. Do you think people have this notion that there's this like pre-written story of their life, and they're just trying to find the sentences, and they're trying to live inside the sentences properly, because they keep trying to, does this fit? Does this not fit? Who are you asking? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Who are you asking? Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe it's not meant for me. Who the fuck are you asking? Who decides who and what is meant or not meant for you?
Yourself.
Religious people have so much so much gratitude towards God, and God bestows upon them all of the good, and he's the all-knowing, all-creator, right? But if it's all creator, if it's all encompassing, then just like I keep saying, nature is both positive and negative. God created both. So if you're experiencing negative, you think God's telling you not to do it? He's not telling you anything. He's given you free will in order to decide. Why? Because he wants your love. And you can't give love unless you have free will. And love isn't only positive things. Love requires the opposite in order to exist. So all these constant stopping points where we pick our head up and go, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? That is an arbitrary question. Why is it that you want to do it? And is that reason still strong enough for you to keep going? Has the reason really changed just because you've been faced with obstacles or hardships or questions or doubts or fears?
He who has a why can bear almost anyhow.
I mean, that's how I tend to try to keep myself at peace and like clear and calm, even though I'm energetic and enthusiastic and everything. Like that's how I've learned to keep myself at peace when bad shit happens, is because I don't differentiate it as a bad thing. Like it's just a thing. Because bad and good is again, it's like the hardships are how I do the opposite. So my admiration and love for this gym is because of the hardships it took for me to start it. Mm-hmm. Like when you find your person, it's because you found so many people that weren't. Like when I like my fucking stature and my abs and my strength, it's because of the times I didn't have it. Like that's the only way. So why in the fuck, when we feel negative, do we feel it's not for us? Like I get it. I understand. But why can't we just accept that it's part of the fucking process? Like, why do we constantly question the process? Why do we constantly question, is this the right thing to be doing? Isn't that a really basic answer? Is it the right thing to be doing? Is it? Is that a simple fucking question and a simple answer?
It's interesting. Because I've lived a lot of my life thinking that everyone else they had the answer to how to operate.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. And like
nobody has it figured out.
I figured that out very recently.
And that's the thing that will keep you most at peace.
Definitely.
See? Exactly my point. I used to be dead scared of talking to people, of interacting with people. Why? Because like you said, I felt like they all had answers that I don't. I felt like they all had shit figured out that I don't. And it wasn't until I really, really, really realized that no one's got their shit together. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Everyone's just doing the best they can with what they've got. And so am I. And it just leveled the fucking playing field. Mm-hmm. I didn't care if you had $80 million, $5. I don't care if you were jacked or ugly. There is no more of this. There are just daily, consistent actions that define you. That's it. Right? Whether we sit down for an hour and you ask me really exquisite questions that gets me to be very cognitive or wise or whatever the fuck we record. None of that matters if throughout my day I don't do things.
Right.
That's my definition. This right here, this is just fucking masturbation, bro. This just makes me feel good because I'm able to share my experiences and my thoughts. And I hope people get benefit from it. But it makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not doing anything. If you go out and listen to this shit and do something different because of it, now it's real. Now it becomes an actual action, and life and reality has been changed because of it. But until that happens, it's fucking nothing. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. What is it? What's the fucking phrase? Thought without action is, or something. You know what I mean? There's some phrase out there like,
Listen, if we were all judged by our thoughts, no one would have any fucking friends.
fuck, bro, I'd be fucked.
Everybody would be.
Yeah.
It'd be heinous.
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
Oh, man.
Right. Just like that book, The Untethered Soul. He gave an example in one of the chapters. You know, he says in the book that the voices in your head aren't you. Right? Did we talk about this?
Mm-hmm. We did.
Yeah. So you're the one listening to the voices, right? You can hear the voices. So he said, what if you were able to manifest a human being next to you, right? You just popped a human out. And that human only spoke what you were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you be their friend?
Right. No.
Fuck no.
No.
There's an annoying motherfucker that would just 90% of the time blurt out oblivious things. Like, we would walk outside and he'd be like, "Wow, it's cold outside." Like, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. Why did you have the need to say that? So why did I have the need to think it? But we do. And so, like, if you can find the peace and the understanding that, like, what your actions are your definition. Yeah. You could take that to an extreme. And there are some people who have some really heinous, awful thoughts. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people who've been able to subdue a lot of heinous thoughts and never act on them, and society has benefited because of it. Does that make sense? Like, if you wanted to murder somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you thought about it and you planned it out and you felt how fucking good it would feel for that person's life to end, but you never did it, you didn't do anything.
This is Nietzsche and all these other philosophers and such. It's like the people that deem themselves good because they're too afraid to actually act on something. Like, you're not good because you don't have claws.
Oh,
This is the be dangerous. A good person is
Jordan Peterson is be a monster because you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
choose not to harm somebody.
Yep.
Like, I have more self-control than a guy who can't harm somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's where I think that's like that marrying of the actions and the thoughts.
Sure. Well, I mean, yeah, you need to be capable of whatever, right? You need to be able to be doing things. Just because you make yourself unable to do things doesn't make you more noble. Or
Right.
does that make sense?
100%.
But the opposite's also true. You know, like the goth kids in high school. There was a bunch of goth kids when I was in high school.
Maybe back in we didn't.
You don't have
those.
goths anymore?
The goths are out of the pic. Like,
No
yeah.
shit. There's no more goth.
Not
What is it
really.
now? Who dresses in the black fishnets and shit?
That's those are like
Emo?
Emo's still
Maybe they-
kinda there.
What about like black lipstick and shit? They don't do that shit anymore? Shut
not
up,
really.
for real?
Not really. No. There's not that like subset of.
No way.
No.
When I was in high school, there was a giant subset of goth kids. And they all dyed their hair black, and they had black fucking, lipstick, and everything was the worst thing ever, and they
Right.
celebrated death and
Right.
just negative, right? Why did we call them posers? Because none of them did bad things. None of them
Posers.
they're like, oh, we're with Satan. Like, you went to class and did your homework every day
Right.
this week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not celebrating Satan. Like, just because you watch cartoons that are, you're not evil.
Right.
You're acting.
Right.
You're not evil. And that's because it's actions define you. I can tell you how big of a fucking badass I am, or how strong I am, or how much I can beat people up. But until you do it, no one gives you any fucking time of day. So why are we so guilty? Why do we feel so guilty for having the opposite thoughts? Why are we so guilty when we are an actual good person, but we have some not so great thoughts? Why do we feel we're less than all of a sudden? Because you think that I don't have those same thoughts?
Yeah, we do. I think that's what people think. They think you don't have those same thoughts.
Everybody has those thoughts, bro.
Why do we think that you don't? I don't.
I don't know.
Why
I
do we
don't know.
think you
I
don't
don't
have those
understand
same
how we
thoughts?
can be so connected and so communicative and overshare. There's a whole lot of oversharing going on right now.
Yeah.
Yet still think we're so alone in this experience.
We think it's like it's a little bit of narcissism. It's like we think we're so unique.
Yes. That's probably the best way to describe it is we've been told we're so special for so long
Yeah.
that we've equated special with unique.
Yeah.
Like you're so unique. Not. You're not that unique. You're not that special. Which is actually cool because Adam Sandler just made a like a Pixar type video movie on Netflix called Leo,
Okay.
where he's like an iguana and he's like at a part of a classroom, and he's been alive for 70 years, so he's seen so many groups of kindergartners. And I'm not going to ruin the video. I have kids, so I don't know. Anyway, the iguana breaks out. No, the iguana gets sent to everybody's house over the weekend. So like part of being a responsible kid is like you got to take the class pet home and you got to take care of it.
Yeah.
So he goes to the bitch's house. Okay, so there's like a bitch of the class. Like she's the most.
I thought you meant he's going over to the bitch.
No. Like there's a girl that everybody hates because she's a mean girl.
Gotcha.
And you know she has a lot of money and she has everything she wants, but she's always so prissy and she.
Gotcha.
And he literally sings her a song to convince her that she's not as special as she thinks. And I'm like, this is a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. How amazing.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
bro, like finally, like we're starting to turn this corner, at least with the media, that like you're not as special as you think. But that gives you the opportunity to do great fucking things. Because as we believe we're more special, more unique, the world keeps reminding you that you're not. And then you have this like conflict personality where you're like, no, how did I get fired? I'm special. Like Joan, you didn't do any fucking work. Like you went on lunch break for 2 hours. Oh, I was hungry. I'm special. I can eat for 2 hours. No, you fucking can't. You know? So they're like, oh, our organization was racist against lunch. You know?
Right. That's like the hot chick that's like hot in college, and then like, you know, she gets a little like later on in life, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yes. Yeah, dude. If we just understood that like everyone is experiencing the same human experience. Like nobody, not a single human in the history of humanity is excluded from the human experience.
Right.
Which includes all of the nasty thoughts, all the positive thoughts, you know, and then it's just actions.
But yeah, we still try. Like, there's still these parts of like there's one side of my family that like wants to shy away from all of those thoughts, and they want to hide it and pretend like they don't exist.
Most people condemn those that admit they have those thoughts,
Right.
as if they don't have them themselves. That's this whole cancel culture. Like, oh my God, when that person was in college, they said something racist. Like, bro, everybody has said something racist. Especially now that racism, the definition of it has become so fucking large.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even like have observations anymore.
Well, it's always shifting, so there's never going to be a solution because it's always changing.
Yeah. Yeah, which is impossible to manage.
Yeah.
But besides the point, like usually those that are condemning of others are the ones that feel ashamed for having that within themselves. It's projections.
Mm-hmm.
All it is just projecting. That's all it is. And we know this. Like there's 5-year-olds who have these words and vocabulary. Like I have heard my 7-year-old niece, 8-year-old niece, say things along these lines about like, oh, that he's just projecting. I'm like, what? How the fuck do you know that psychology already? Because like adults communicate with kids. Adults are talking a lot about all this type of stuff. So then kids start using that shit. Mom, Billy was projecting his anger towards me today. You know, like
Smart little kids.
Just fucking punch the kid. Like, we don't use projecting at 8. Like, let's just get back to like nature.
Get back to nature.
Let's just go survival of the fittest for a little bit. Anyway, yeah, we can keep rambling, but dude, the dark side's in with every single person. Everyone has nasty thoughts. Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Everyone should try to do the best they can with what they have. Being resourceful is one of the main points of being an adult. Is I know I don't have everything I need, but I'm going to take what I have and I'm going to make the most of what I can do. And if you just keep doing that, eventually, like, you start really gaining the understanding that I don't really need as much as I think I need. And I'm able to do way more than I think I am. And I'm not unique. And if I can do it, somebody else can do it too. I'm not special. And if they don't know how to do it, I can teach them. And that's how we all come together. That's how we start. Which is the end goal of all of this. The whole point of me saying all these fucking words for the last hour is we're trying to bring all this shit together. We're trying to connect people again, truly. I need to be able to talk shit on your fucking sandals and not today, but I need to be able to communicate that with you and not feel like there's going to be some horrendous backlash, because you know that I'm saying it in a positive intent way.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Because I care about you. Not because I'm trying to make myself feel better because I have shorts on and you have pajamas on.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Funny enough, that episode never aired. So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Anyway, if we can't talk shit, if we can't laugh and joke, if we can't be honest, like what the fuck is all this advancements for?
Yep.
What's the technology for? What's the social media for? Like, what's it for? Let's get back to being together.
Yeah. Like, if you can make fun of me and I can make fun of you, it's like, okay, we're comfortable with each other. Like, we're on the same team now.
Yeah.
Even though we're kind of playing around, it's like.
Of course.
In any cultural differences, racial differences, whatever.
And to pretend that those differences don't exist, don't make them not exist.
Makes it worse.
Fuck yeah.
It fucking makes it worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To pretend you're not black and I'm not white and that's not funny for some reason. Like, what? We're going to pretend that that's not true?
Right.
You're tall, I'm short. We're not going to pretend that that's true. You're fat and I'm not. Like, we're not going to pretend that that's not true. It's true. Doesn't mean you're a piece of shit human being.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I hate you. Doesn't mean any of those things. Some people hate you for that reason. That's how you know not to be friends with those people, because they're crazy. But like, if we silence the crazy people because now no one is allowed to say anything,
right?
How do you know who you're connecting with?
Yep.
How the fuck do you know that these are your people or not? Let crazy people be crazy, and that's the easiest filter to filter them out of your fucking life. But to tell them they can't say what they want to say or do what they want to do, how will you ever know?
God, it's like, it's like it's these people were, when they were children, like their parents make sure everything was right in their world.
Yes.
No bad things came into the world.
Nope.
It's like, that's not realistic in the slightest.
No. Not only is it not realistic, but how do you know where your world ends and another world starts?
Yep.
How do you know what is your world and what isn't? Like, how do you know? There's no boundaries. If literally I don't have to fear any human at all for any reason, what boundary could I possibly put on myself? I will invade everybody's privacy. I will invade everybody's space. I will take everything that everybody has as mine because there's no boundaries. They're all great for me. Everyone's super nice and no one says anything mean. I can just sit on everybody's lap and hold them around the neck. They're all my people. No, they're not. There's evil out there. Like, it will not go away. You have to know which part is evil. There is just some inherent evil out there. There can't be angels if there's not, the opposite. Like, it just can't. And we have to be able to understand how to differentiate. So let people do what they want to do with boundaries, obviously, to keep societal fucking, society together needs, directions. But you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm going to talk myself into a circle. All right, I'm out. That's it.
Okay, takeaway.
What's your takeaway?
What's my takeaway, right? And then, my takeaway today was figuring out the soul of my business and like having the verbiage and being able to actually articulate it. and I'm that was good.
And how do you do that?
That's like the acid that you're in. Like that gave me a visual picture of like, oh yeah, okay. Like don't let my clients
Sit in
sit
acid
Yeah.
for no fucking reason.
Right.
Yeah, cool. That could be your fucking marketing like cartoon.
Yeah.
Be super easy to fucking get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Cool.
There you go.
Okay, sweet. All right. What we got?
there you go.
Subscribe.
Yeah, you know,
All
fuck.
that shit.
Dude, click the subscribe button. Tell your friends about this shit. Comment. I'll respond to you personally just because I like having conversations with people. And, you know, if you don't, no one else will.
Don't be a pussy. We love consent.
Yeah.
Any ladies out there?
Oh, dude, no. That third part's got to go. Bye.